Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This is Kim Dahnke, the Shibboleth new member, fast track instructor. Glad you're here with me. All right, we are ready to go. If you are on Facebook, please take a second to say hello. Let me know that you're here. And one of the best things that you can do for Shibboleth that is free to you, but very helpful to us, is to hit the share button. So if you want to hit the share button, that would be awesome. You don't even have to say anything. Just let somebody say, "What is this?" And they can figure it out. So if you are in the Zoom room, please take a second to set your chat to everyone and then say hello. And let me know if you had a perfect day or not. Hey, Mary, glad you're here. Hey, Delanne, glad you're here. Awesome. Hey, Amanda. Amanda's back tonight. Wonderful. Who else do we have here with us tonight? We've got 7 in the Zoom room. Okay, we got Barbie. Barbie. Has anybody ever done that, Amanda? Just call you Barbie. Amanda, Barbie. Hey, Mary's had 3 perfect days. That is amazing. Hey, Darren, glad you're back. That's awesome. We got Deb with us, and Melissa, and Michelle, and Trisha, and my Uncle Walter. Hey, Walter. And yeah, that was funny. Sometimes my mouth just opens up and does that. Says things that aren't quite accurate. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started tonight. Let's see, Melissa just starting Shibboleth. So excited. We're excited too. We're so glad. Pulled off a perfect day after a grocery trip. That's awesome, Michelle. Wonderful. Hey, Chris, glad you're on here. Hey, Alice. Awesome. Glad y'all are here. Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get busy. Tonight, we are going to go over the fast track laps that have to do with the recipe library and creating a grocery list. Now, those of you who have not done lap 1 and lap 2, I don't actually go over lap 1 and lap 2 with you in a live webinar, because in lap 1, it looks like it's a lot of things, but it's really not. So right here, you register for the webinars. And here's a little tip. Once you register for one, you're registered for all of them. So you don't have to go through and do all of them. You may have, and that's okay. This one says watch the 14 fast track videos, and that takes about an hour. And then from here, where it says welcome packet and guidelines, all the way down to meal plan worksheet, those are some things that if you have a printer, you could print. A lot of people like to print, take notes, highlight, maybe 3-hole punch them, put them in a binder, that sort of things. These are what you would get in a welcome email that had a whole bunch of attachments to it. But instead of doing that, we just have this organized way here for you to print those things. And then these items here, if you are a Facebook user, you can join the groups and like the public page. If you are not a Facebook user, just check the box anyway. Check the box anyway, okay? Hey, Christine, glad you're here. Let's see, Lisa started Sunday and have had 4 perfect days. Awesome, Lisa. That's wonderful. And in lap 2, I don't go over this because I don't go over lap 1 because y'all can print and read things on your own. And then in lap 2, confirming your email and finding your ideal weight, completing a full body assessment, taking pictures, and defining your why. Those are things that you really need to do on your own. And so just as a reminder, when you hover your mouse, that little black box pops up. That black box is the instructions for why you're doing that particular task. If you happen to miss any of the videos at 7:30 each night, they're housed all right here. So you would just come back here and find it right there. This is a link to the website that I used on Monday night. And if by chance you didn't take the test after watching those 14 little videos, then you can earn your badge here. Now, please remember that that little badge says complete on it, but you're not complete technically until you have every little box checked off in each of the laps. But what I really want the badge to say is that you have full access. That's what I want it to say. And we're working on getting the design team and the development team to do that. Now, last night we went over the food library in lap 3 and how the timing chart works. So tonight we are going to do the grocery list and recipes and all that kind of fun stuff. So just as a reminder, this is a little shortened tutorial video right here that you can watch. But if you're watching right now, this full 1 hour, you probably don't need this little short one, okay? Because you're spending more time with us learning more than what this little short one is about. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to do is create a grocery list. So this website is kind of like Travis Martin's brainchild for 20 years. I can imagine him waking up in the middle of the night and saying, what if I had a grocery list on there? And then he getting the development team to add a grocery list to it. So all these little special features, I really do think they are just things that Travis thought, this has helped me, let me put it on here. Or what if I had this? Could this help everybody? So that's why we've got all these cool features. So we're going to create a grocery list in the Resources, Foods, and Recipes tab. Yes, Dawn, it's a wonderful feature. So right here, it says, in order to add foods, this is really important to understand. In order to add foods to a grocery list, the grocery list must be created first. If you shop at multiple stores, it's a good time to create a grocery list for each store. So we're going to click here. And when I click there, it's actually taking you to a link inside this green tab right here. This green tab is going to be one of your favorite tabs. There's lots of great things right there. But you're going to see a green button that says Add Grocery List. So we click there, and you can pick the date that you want to make this grocery list for. And then I'm just going to put in Kroger this time and hit Create. That's that. Okay, you can simply come back and check that box now because that little task was just to create a grocery list, and we've done that now. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is I would like for y'all somewhere, either on Facebook or Zoom, to the first 3 food items that I see, I'm going to find them and add them to the grocery list from the food library. So y'all type in 3 food items for me. I'm only going to do the first 3 that I see. So I'll give you a chance to type something. All right, we got Lewis 35-calorie bread. Okay. Okay, so, and then Mary just went chicken, milk, and cheese. Okay, sounds good. I got my 3. Okay, so I'm going to click here. And I'm going to read the black box. For practice, pick any food item from the food library and add it to one of your grocery lists. Adding a food item to a grocery list can be done in 2 places. In the food list, it's the last button to the right of the food item listing. Once you've opened up a food item, it's the green button that looks like a list. So let me click there. And we're here in the food library, which I went over last night. I'm going to click here in the search bar, and I'm going to type in Lewis because I want as few words as possible to look this up. So Lewis 35-calorie breads. Now, I like to have the best breads for weight loss. And so I'm seeing this one is a -2 on the weight loss meter. And this is a 0, 0, 0. These are all pretty much zeros. I've got a couple of 1s there. And then I've got some keto burger buns as a 1, okay, a -1. So this is the one I'm going to add to the grocery list. So if I just simply want to add it to the grocery list from this listing, I click this button here. And then it brings up my lists of grocery lists. So I'm going to put it in my Kroger list. And that is added to the grocery list. Okay, now just to kind of show you what it looks like when you open it up, it tells you the category. This is a category 2 fibrous carb. You can use up to 2 slices as a category 2 bread. The reason that these breads are category 2 breads is they have enough fiber in them to break down in your body more like a green bean does. And so that's why these work. And it's not that it's keto specifically. This one just happens to be keto, but you know, our lifestyle is not keto. But once you open this up, if you click right here, that's also the other place where you would find it. Now, watch what's going to happen. It's going to tell me I already have it in there. Gonna say, okay, thank you for keeping me straight. Okay, now I'm gonna put in chicken. Now keep in mind that less bread is always best. I try to do more open face sandwiches when using bread, or I'll use a wrap. Another strategy is to have bread at either breakfast or lunch, but I try not to do it at both if possible. And then I rarely do it at night. Now, those are just strategies. Can you have them at those times? Yes, you can. But after living this for 2.5 years, you start to figure out how your body responds to things, and you can make decisions based on that. Okay, so I put in chicken. Chicken, it came back with 474 results. So I just kind of know that we're probably just looking for some regular chicken. And so there it is, 2 to 8 ounces of chicken breast. It's a -3 on the weight loss meter. This little heart means that I've hearted it and put it in my favorites. This number means that 641 other people have taken the time to heart that. And if I just want to add that to my list, I click the button, I add it to Kroger list, and there we go. And then I am going to do milk. Now we have an entire category called milk, because milk kind of is varied. Now there's a lean protein milks, which are great to use, but then, you know, people want to know about these different nut milks and other milks that you can use. So I just come down here and click on milk. Everything that has been tagged with the keyword milk is going to pull up. But this is where I really want to see the best of the best. I'm going to put that down to -2, -3 milks. I'm going to pick from there. I didn't even have any. So I'm going to expand by 1. Okay, so now I've got fat-free Fairlife milk and Kroger Carb Master milk. Well, since I'm shopping at Kroger this time, I'm going to put this one in there, but I'm going to click there. I just want you to see what it looks like. I'm going to give this 5 stars because I really do like this milk. Now I really wasn't even big milk drinker before Shibboleth. I just kind of had cut it out, but I use this purposefully. You know, I don't just drink it randomly every day. I use it in recipes. But what I like about this milk is they've got original milk, but then they've got vanilla flavored milk and chocolate flavored milk, and they're all delicious. So this is in the lean protein category, so you can use it as a lean protein. And then it's considered a perfect pairing item. It's considered a perfect pairing item typically when you use it with phase 2 cereals and phase 1 cereals even, and some meal replacements. And what a perfect pairing is it's an item that's put together that doesn't really meet the guidelines on the combination chart, but it's been determined that if you do it the way that it's described, it'll still work for you. So a perfect pairing just means that it doesn't follow the rules, but it'll work. If you come down here, there's more information about it, and then look. If you keep scrolling down, look at all those recipes that include that particular milk, which I really like. I like to look at the recipes. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to my Kroger grocery list from right there. Okay, so I've done 3 of those, and that was just for practice. I just wanted you to see how to add things from the food library, because we went over the food library last night, and I'd rather spend our time tonight in the recipe library. So now that we've added a few things, we're just going to check that box. Okay, so we're going to familiarize ourselves with the recipe library. Search the recipe library for your favorites. This is a database built by our Shibboleth family. As you are exploring, please heart each recipe you think you might like to try. Hearting the recipe adds it to your personal favorites, which can be found in your My Journal tab or in the My Favorites tab in the recipe library. And then while we are exploring the recipe library, I'm going to go ahead and be doing this particular action item too, because this is so cool. Each recipe required ingredient can be added to a grocery list with the click of a button. Once the recipe has been opened, you simply click the green Add to Grocery List button. So we're going to click there. It's going to take us to the recipe library. Okay, so this is going to look a little bit different each time you come to this page. Do you see these little pictures here? These beautiful pictures. And then as you can see, as I hover over it, the little black box pops up and it tells you what that is a picture of. These pictures are dynamic. What that means is these are going to change every single time you come back to this page. So what I like to do, let's say that looks yummy to me. Eggs and tomato breakfast melts. Okay, that looks yummy. But then let's see, kicking chicken. I kind of want to write this down. If I think I want to find kicking chicken the next time I come back to this page, I want to be able to write it down. So if you see one that you like, just jot it down. And I'll show you why in a second. Every time we come back to this page tonight, we are going to see that these pictures are different. But if you have taken the time to just jot this down, you can do a search for that name right here. But if you don't take the time to write that down because you didn't know the pictures are going to change on you, you might go back to that page expecting to see the same pictures and they're not. So that's why I like to just tell you that up front. See, my job is to help shorten your learning curve on how to use this website. Okay, do you see right here the My Favorites button in the top right-hand corner above that green button? That is where you would find all of the things that you have personally hearted. That's where you'd find it. Or you can find them in the My Journal tab. So if you do find that you want to add a recipe to the recipe library, I would start a conversation with Kim Shibboleth on the Shibboleth Fixed It page about that. And y'all can kind of really hone that recipe to what it needs to be. And then you can come right here and you can click Add New Recipe. For those of you who like to see what recipes are being added regularly, we scroll right down here. There you go. You get the recently added. And this one was just added. And this one was just added and so forth. And a lot of people will name theirs, like there's Mike's Spicy Hunan Chicken. My friend Don Lyons' husband is an excellent chef, and he's going to, so anytime you see Mike's, that's probably going to be Don's husband. And then there's Brenda's Crock Pot Shredded Chicken Soft Tacos. So it's just kind of fun to see what we all put in here. So these are the most recently added recipes. You'll see that. And then you've got this search button, search bar right here. Now this search bar will search for things like, see where that says most delicious frittata? If you wanted to find that exact recipe, see if you type frittata in, it's probably going to pull up multiple frittatas. But if you specifically want to find the most delicious one, you need to type in most delicious because it's part of the name, okay? So if you type in chicken right here, the only chicken recipes that are going to pull up are the ones that have chicken in the name of the recipe, So if I'm going to want to find recipes with chicken in it, you know where I'm going? I'm going to the food library and I'm finding chicken, and then I'm scrolling down because the recipes are listed there for that. So just kind of give you that tip. And then right here, you know how a cookbook is divided up by sections? There's your sections: appetizer, breakfast, condiments, desserts, and so forth. There's your sections. We even have a section called Walmart. 99% of ingredients come from Walmart. This will hopefully keep people from having to go to multiple restaurants, grocery stores, to find the ingredients that we need. And then before we move on down here, I want to show you this little filters button. You can click this filters button, and what it's going to do is it gives you the ability to filter for cooking for 1 to 2 people, cooking for the family, crock pot meals, meals with just a few ingredients, and no bake meals. And so right now we have every single recipe, 73 pages, every recipe there, 1,819 listed right there. But let's say I just want to find crock pot recipes. That's real popular with families. We're going to click on crock pot. And you can see how it's highlighted in green. That means you now know that you've got that filter chosen. And this lists out all of the recipes. There's 88 recipes that have been tagged with the keyword of crock pot. And you've got the name of the recipe here. You've got the category, like right over here where it says type. That's the category. And then you've got the weight loss meter. What weight loss meter is this recipe given? Is it excellent for weight loss? Is it just so-so? Or is it something best kept for maintenance? That's the weight loss meter and what that comes from. We'll talk about that more in just a second. This is the count of likes that an item has. I mean, if you're seeing 100 and 801 likes, that might be a really good recipe. And then you've got a rating. Now, I wouldn't judge these foods by the number of likes or by the average rating, just because if it's a brand new recipe, it's not going to have a lot of likes in there yet. Some of these ones that have so many likes like that have been in there since 2013, 2014, and so forth when this website started. And then your average rating, that's only there if people go back in and give it a rating. So I wouldn't put a ton of credence in that in trying something, but if you want to try it, but if you see some high numbers, you probably could guarantee that would be a good meal for you to try. Okay, so I'm going to click right here in this field where it says WLM, that stands for weight loss meter. And what this is going to do is it's going to reorganize my list. Now it's going to give me some, if you see nothing in that box, it just means that it wasn't given a weight loss meter. See, this website has been around a little while, and Travis comes up with new things all the time, and going back and putting numbers into some recipes just takes a while, and some that is not done. So if you're really curious about it, I bet they will do that for you. If you say, hey, what would the weight loss meter be on the healthy slow cooker chicken chili? Somebody would do that for you if you ask. Okay, so don't feel bad asking. But so that's just what that blank is for. But if I come down here, look at all these. A -3 meal, a -3, -3, -3. You know, we've got a lot of -3s right there. So if you just kind of wanted to focus in on some really great weight loss meal, these -3 meals, and you come over here, you know, we've got 841 likes there, 213 likes there, and so forth. Well, I'm going to, you know what? I actually want to look at this crock pot Italian chicken. So I'm going to click it. Okay, and there's a picture of it, and you can come down here and you can see you need 2 pounds of chicken breast. Okay, and I absolutely love that there's multiple layers of learning in Shibboleth. They don't just teach you something and expect you to remember everything. So it doesn't just say 2 pounds of chicken breast. Over here to the right, it says 2 to 8 ounces of chicken breast, and it reminds you that it's a category 1 lean protein. I like these little reminders. They're very handy in the beginning, just to, the more information you see and the more repetitive you see it, the more you really learn it and internalize what's what. Okay, so you would need chicken breast, a jar of hot banana pepper rings, and 2 envelopes of Italian salad dressing spice mix. Well, look, this is also in a few ingredients. This is just a few ingredients. So it gives you the directions there, and it gives you a description, and it gives you serving notes, and it even tells you how to journal it. So this is a category 1 and 2 with a condiment. So let's go back and look. The chicken breast is the category 1. The hot pepper rings are a category 2. And then you've got this condiment here. Now, if you don't like hot banana pepper rings, I bet you could just replace that with whatever category 2 vegetable you like, and it would still keep that the same. That would still keep that the same. It'd still be a 1 and a 2. And then it tells you who it was submitted by. This one was submitted way back in March of 2015. And you even have, oh, look, Deb wrote that right there. I recognize her username. And so if you've got questions, you can ask questions right here. I highly suggest coming down to the bottom in the comments and reading them before you make a recipe. That way, if there was any tips or tricks, then you could change that up. Now, if you think, yes, I want to make this, all you got to do is click that button and you can choose to add it to your grocery list. Now, because I have chosen to make this, I'm actually going to go ahead and click this heart button too. Now, that does not mean that it's a favorite yet. I haven't tried it. It just means I want to save myself some time when I want to go back and find this recipe. I don't want it to be in thousands of recipes. I want it to be in my favorites list right there. And this is a -3. Now, if you want to print this, all you got to do is print it. And there you go. You can just print this. You can put 3-hole punch it, put it in a binder, and have that available for in the future. Okay, so we've looked at one recipe and we've added it to a grocery list. I'm going to go back to the recipe library. And we're going to look at this in a little bit different way. Okay, do you see how the pictures changed? Now we've got turkey vegetable soup, almond flour waffles, basil bites, garden squash skillet, and more. So if you happen to see the name of something that you think you might want to try, jot it down. We have a lot of information coming through our head 24/7 these days. And I know that I have thought, oh, I'll remember pintos and rice, but I probably won't. So if I write it down, I at least have that note and I can just look it up right over here. Okay, so just to kind of come down below those pictures and show you, we've got, just like in the food library had filters, the recipe library has those filters too. Now they're different filters than were in the food library. But we also have that weight loss meter, so we can have a look at that. But underneath these pictures down here, it takes each section. And this only looks like this on a computer. It might look like this on a tablet. Somebody can let me know, but on the phone, it doesn't really do all of this. It just gives you this and you click on the section that you want to, then you would get to that. But on a computer, you can just kind of scroll down and look at things and you keep going. And this is just a fun way to scan for things that you think you might like to try. But what I really want to do is let's play around and add a few more recipes. I'm going to go to this filters button again. I really like the filters button. So let's say that I want to cook things with just a few ingredients. To tell you the truth, that's kind of, thank you, Mary. This is my kind of cooking, stuff with just a few ingredients. So I'm going to click that. And you can see that it's green, it's highlighted. I'm going to let it generate. We don't want to be a happy clicker. Okay, so did you see how the page was blank for just a second? If you go, oh, it's blank, and click again, you just set yourself on a wild goose chase to find anything. But that's the way with most websites. So if you know you've clicked something, just be confident that you clicked it. You could even look at the top and see if something is moving and everything. But I just say, don't be a happy clicker. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Deb. Okay, in landscape mode, you can see that. Good. Okay, so I always like to see what's the best of the best. And I could just draw this little bar down here and say, I only want to see -2, -3 meals. It's going to move the whole rest of them out of there. And there we go. So I've got my -2, -3. Now it's mixed in. So at this point, I'm going to click that button and let it organize it for me. Okay. So I got all my -3s at the top. All right. I really, really like meatloaf. So let's go ahead and click right there. I want to see this meatloaf recipe. Okay. We got meatloaf. It would require 1.5 pounds of 96% lean ground beef. And if we come over here, it reminds us that lean ground beef is a category 1 lean protein. So it would use an egg or a 1/4 cup of egg whites. Whole eggs are a category 4. If you'd use the egg whites, what category are they? Y'all tell me, what category are they? Because an egg is a protein plus fat. because it's got the yolk. But egg whites would be a category, yes, Temperance. Awesome. Mary, Michelle, thank you. Yes, a category 1 lean protein. And then we've got a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. And so they basically just tell you right here, it's just 1 slice of category 2 bread toasted. And they're using Healthy Life bread, the Lewis Healthy Life bread for that. You could technically use whatever category 2 that you want. Okay, so if this isn't a bread that you buy often, you can buy whatever category 2 bread you want. This is just the one the person who submitted this recipe chose. And it's a category 2 bread. A 1/4 cup of red onion, which is a category 3. Now remember, on Sunday and Monday night, we talked about the fact that, well, Monday night in particular, talked about the fact that onions are a category 3 energy carb. And I always say, if you're having a 1/4 cup, you got to call it an energy carb. Now with the onion, if you're just having a smidge, I'm talking like smidge of onion or a very thin slice, like on a sandwich or something like that, you can call that a condiment. But if you're doing a 1/4 cup, it's got to be called a category 3. So we call that a category 3. And then 2 tablespoons of low sugar ketchup. Now, personally, I would call this meal a 1, 2, 3. I don't know why they're calling it a 1 and a condiment. So I'm going to screenshot that and ask a question because it clearly has a 2 here and a 1/4 cup of that. But they could be calling, I don't know. I'm gonna question that, y'all. But that's what we do. We should question things that are different than what we've seen. And they may have a good reason, but I want to find that out. So the serving size is 2 to 8 ounces or a portion that fits underneath your hand. And somebody said, add a squirt of mustard and Skittle water around meatloaf in dish, tastes better. Somebody says very dry. Any recommendations? So those are things to read. Now, maybe you say, oh, I don't really think I want this meatloaf, but I want a meatloaf. Let's come over here into the search bar right up here, and let's type in meatloaf, and let's see our options here. Now, I'm not being a happy clicker. I'm waiting till the meatloaves generate. Okay, there we go. Now, look at all those that have meatloaf in them. So really, that meatloaf word got me thinking about meatloaf. I looked at that recipe, some things in that recipe said, maybe there's a better one. So what I'm going to do right here is I want to scan for likes right now. Let's see, we got 143, 145, 175. There's a 217. Okay, let me just look at this 217. It's called meatloaf number 2. You know, meatloaf can be so different. Okay, so 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef, and they're using category 4. Now, guess what? Category 4 is a protein plus fat. There's going to be a little bit more fat in this. This may take away the dryness. That other one was using a category 1 lean protein. So you still need your either a whole egg or a 1/4 cup of egg whites. There's your breadcrumbs. There's some onions. And this one is just like regular onions. The other one said red onions. Doesn't really matter. It's just onions. 2 tablespoons reduced sugar ketchup. That would probably help with the dryness if you were concerned about those concerns in that other recipe. And then salt and pepper. So let's just say that you think, I want to try this recipe. You just click here and you add it to your grocery list. We add it to our grocery list. Okay. So I want y'all to give me a couple of recipes that y'all want us to look up. Let's look up a few of your favorites. And Christine is saying on Facebook that there is a category 2 gluten-free bread that would work in that meatloaf if you're gluten-free. Thank you, Christine. Okay, tuna casserole. So we'll look up some tuna. You know, okay. So I'm gonna look this up 2 ways. I want to see what I pull up. And I want to show y'all that there's multiple ways to find these recipes. Okay, we got tuna casserole, lasagna. Okay, so there's 2 that have the words. Do you see how it says tuna casserole and casserole right there? There's 2 recipes right here. I'm going to go into the food library Oh, good. Mary made the homemade ranch dressing today, and it's great. That's awesome. I'm going to go into the food library. Paula says that she used 96% lean hamburger meat, added mushroom zucchini, and it added moisture to the hamburger so it wasn't so dry and didn't add any bread. I like that idea, Paula. I think that's a great idea. I think that's perfect. Thank you for giving us that suggestion. Okay, so I'm here in the food library. I'm going to search for tuna. Okay, so tuna gave me 34 results. Let's just look at tuna right here. I'm going to click on tuna. And if I scroll down, there's two different recipes with tuna in them, but they wouldn't really make a casserole. So I'm just looking things up. These are just good ways to look up additional things. Now I'm going to go back here and I just want to see this Starkist chunk light tuna. And there's a couple of little recipes there too that would be kind of easy to do. So let's go back to the tuna casserole though in the recipe library. So we got Megan's no noodle tuna casserole. So you've got garlic and cup of fat-free cheese, a ranch packet optional, onion, veggies, peppers, green beans, celery, almond flour, Carb Quick. Now, Carb Quick is and category and almond flour are both category 2 flours or breadings. And this usually makes people really happy that we have those on the lifestyle on a perfect day because you can do lots of things with them. Greek plain yogurt, water, 4 cans of tuna in water drained. Then it gives you your directions and nobody's really commented yet. But if you think, okay, I want to make that one, you can add that to your grocery list right there. Well, let's go back a page though, and let's check out the tuna and green bean casserole. Okay, so we've got a bag of frozen French cut green beans, 2 cans of tuna, onion, ghee butter. See, I always say that I use ghee butter to cook things. There's some ghee butter in a recipe. I don't really use it on a bread or stuff. 4 ounces of mushrooms, chicken broth, and 3/4 of a cup of fat-free half and half. There's your directions and your serving notes. Tells you what category to call it in your journal, and it tells you your serving size. And then you've got comments. So if you think those look good, you can add that to your grocery list as well. I actually prefer the way this one looks over that last one. So we'll just add that right there. Okay, so now let's look up lasagna. Now lasagna, now Misty, depending on whether or not you want to make the lasagna or whether you want to purchase some lasagna that's already made, you would do 2 different things. So if you want to make the lasagna, obviously you look it up in the recipe library. But if you just want to find some lasagna that is Shibboleth approved, that is possibly already made and you don't have to make it, then you can go into the food library and just type in lasagna. Okay, so we got lasagnas all right here. I'm going to click on the weight loss meter. Okay, so we've got 1 -3 lasagna, but I think that we see that Brenda's, no, but Brenda, she does put a lot of things in the website. Let's look at Brenda's lasagna. Oh, and I just saw my friend Becky. She's the happy camper. We're going to look at her lasagna too. Okay, so we got 1 pound, 96% lean ground beef or turkey, 1 jar of approved spaghetti sauce, and it gives you an example there, but any approved spaghetti sauce will work. 1 16-ounce container of low-fat cottage cheese, 2 packages of fat-free mozzarella, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and 1 bag of fiber gourmet pasta. Now, let me just tell y'all, this is going to be very much like lasagna. I'm going to heart that actually, because I might want to access that later. I'm going to add that to my list. Now, that fiber gourmet pasta though is bought at the Shibboleth store. but it is just like pasta, and it tastes like pasta. The texture and density of pasta, it's just got about 40% less calories because it has about 27 grams of fiber in it. Let's have a look at this. I want y'all to see this amazing pasta. So it's got 50% less calories. It looks like pasta. It tastes like pasta. 100 calories versus 210 calories, 25 grams of fiber, where most regular pasta has 2 grams of fiber. Guess how many calories are in fiber? Anybody know how many calories are in fiber? It is a whopping 0. Fiber doesn't have calories. So if you've made this with 25 grams of fiber, hence the lower calories. Isn't that cool? And it's got the same texture and flavor and look of regular pasta. Now it's category 2 fibrous carb. It is a 0 on the weight loss meter. Now 0 means it's not going to help you, not going to hurt you, but this is one of those things where this might be the thing that gets the family to also eat things that are Shibboleth approved. And if you want to buy it in our store, you can get it right there. Oh, I didn't see that. It's also found on Amazon. I just buy it at the store because I go to the store. But you can, anything that you purchase in our store as a member, you get 20% off, and anything $30 or more ships for free. But look at this, 17 grams of net carbs versus 41 grams of net carbs. But there's even, in my opinion, better pasta than this for you to use. And we'll look at some of that in just a second. Okay. But did you see how cool that was? Inside this recipe, if I wanted to look at an item because maybe I'm not familiar with it or I've not seen it before, I just click it. It takes me to the food library. I can read all the details, and then I can go right back here. So I think this one's going to be really, really good. But I also want to see my friend Becky's Happy Camper. Let's look at the Happy Camper's eggplant. Okay, that's throwing me off now that it's eggplant. Sorry. Okay, so a large eggplant, we've got ghee. There's the ingredients. I'm not going to really read those. There's your recipe, your directions, and that was submitted by Becky Camp. It's a 1 and a 2 and a condiment. So let's say that I want to make this, just add it to my grocery list and click add. So hopefully you saw some lasagnas there, Misty, that you would like to make, and you saw how to look up lasagna. And then I want to give y'all one little tip. Sometimes when I am typing things, and I have found this to be true more when I'm on my phone, but it's probably true with here. When the information was entered, if that person that entered it also has a space at the end, I back my cursor up because I want it right next to that last letter. It found different things one time. And I was with Patricia Hurt, and I said, do you see what just happened? Look at this. I said, I tried to tell people this one time, and it doesn't happen every time. It only happens when there is a space behind a letter. So I always scoot, this is a little bit too much, but I always scoot my little cursor back right behind the last letter to make sure I'm finding everything possible. Okay. Awesome, Misty. Misty, those noodles are very, they've got linguine and rotini and all kinds of those. And they even have a mac and cheese one too. Okay, so let's go back. And Christine says that we should look up the tater tot casserole. So let's look up tater. Guess what? I'm just putting in tater. I don't need to make it any harder. There we go. It's probably this one right here that she was mentioning, beef and tot casserole and cauliflower tater tots. So let's click on this beef and tot casserole. And you take your lean ground beef or turkey, a can of 98% fat-free cream of chicken or mushroom soup, a half a cup of fat-free cheddar cheese, 1 bag of veggie tots, and salt and pepper to taste. And this just seems like a recipe that people probably have made for their family for years, a fun recipe. But there's a lot of details in here, a lot of details. So you want to read those, and then you can come down here and look at all those comments about that. So you can read those too. But that would be a great recipe to try. And if you want to get that one, you just put it into your grocery list. So while we are talking about pasta, I'm going to go into the food library because I did not talk about pasta last night as promised. And I just remembered that when we started talking about pasta. So I'm in the food library now. In the search bar, I'm typing in pasta because there's 3 pastas I want you to see. One we've already looked at, that Fiber Gourmet one. It's a category 2 fibrous carbs. And most of the time people are like, hallelujah. We've got some pastas, some breads, and some other fun things in the category 2. And it's because there's enough fiber in there. Okay, so it's got 83 results. Now I'm going to take this little ball here and I'm going to scroll this down to at least 0 because I know those Fiber Gourmets are 0, but I want to eliminate and move out of my eyesight anything that's a positive number so I can narrow my results. It's always good to narrow results and look first because you can always expand your results. Okay, so now I've got 64 items here, but the ones I want to particularly show you are the al dente carbonara pasta. I'm going to click there. So the category, what my lesson right here is involving these categories. Do you see how it says category 1, category 2, and category 3? When something is in multiple numbered categories like that, it just means that it has enough lean protein and enough fibrous carbs and enough energy carbs to be all 3. Well, a category 1 plus 2 plus 3 is actually an approved meal. So you could just make noodles and eat them. You could just make some noodles and put a condiment on them and eat them. We also sell these in our little store too. Anytime you see the little green find in our store button, you can get it right there. You can have up to 1.5 cups there. Scroll on down and it gives you more details. Look at this. Scroll on down, look at all the recipes that come with the carbonara noodles. That is really a lot of recipes there. 36 recipes that come with that. So that's a great thing. But I want to ask you an application question. So application question, if you want to put some meat with this pasta, there's one category that you are not going to pull your meat from. Which one is that? Well, Michelle, I don't think there's any meat in 3. Mary, 4. That's right. Yes, Paula. Paula says she loves the carbonara noodles. Yeah, 4. Okay, so 4. You're just not going to pull this. You're not going to pull your meat from a category 4 protein plus fat. That's fine, Michelle, because it's got that 3 in there, Michelle. Because of the 3. It doesn't have anything to do with the lean protein. It doesn't have anything to do with the fibrous carbs, but ding, 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 ding. It has to do with the category 3 energy carbs. So you would not put protein plus fat with this food. Now, could you get a 96% lean ground beef? Sure. Could you do chicken? Yeah. Shrimp? Yeah, you can do all that. You just wouldn't pull anything from the category 4 to put with this because of that 3, because we do not eat protein plus fat with energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. So that's an application question that I like to point out. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. But look, it's a -1. It's a -1 in the weight loss meter, even though it's got a 3 in there. And that Fiber Gourmet, it's got a 0 in the weight loss meter, even though it's just a category 2. Okay, so that's one of those things that I don't even just overthink. Just go with it, whatever meets your need. So if the family wants those other ones that look like that, do that. But those that we just looked at, they look just like egg noodles and fettuccine, so you can do that. But what I want to show you is we're going to look down here at some of these that I have hearted. We're going to look at the organic black bean spaghetti noodles. So this doesn't look normal, right? Your family, if you feed your family that, they're going to think, what's happening? Now, if you start to feed them younger and they don't know the difference, They won't ever ask. So that's why I love it when I can get new moms to start living the lifestyle early with their children. Their children won't think anything about the color of these noodles. These noodles are delicious, by the way. And look, it's in 2 categories. It's a category 1 and a category 2. It's also gluten-free, which is really good if you're a gluten-free person. Now we've got this as a category 1 and category 2. If we wanted meat with this, what categories could we pull meat from? What categories could we pull? Yes, yes, Mary. Yes, 1, 4, and 7. Really, any of the categories that have meat, because there's nothing in here that makes me go ding, ding, ding. There's no energy carbs. There's no fruit. There's no superfood. Really nothing in there to go ding, ding, ding. So I can pull them if I want meat with it anywhere. Could you just eat these noodles? That's right, Paula. And could you just eat these noodles by themselves? You could, because category 1 and 2 is an approved combination. All right, so let's go back because these are a little bit darker and sometimes they freak people out. Now I like black beans, so I thought, I'm going to try these. And I thought I would prefer these black beans over edamame because I've just never been one to eat that. But it was me judging food over its name. It was just dumb. You know how we do that? Sometimes we just don't eat stuff just because we think weird things about them. This is a nutritional adventure. Y'all try new things. Try new things. It's going to be important. Okay, let's come down here and let's look at this one. It's the same thing that we just looked at, but then this edamame version. It looks a little greenish right there. They don't quite look that green when you make them. And I actually prefer these like just a smidge more than the black bean ones flavor wise. So I really like these a lot too. And again, it's a category 1 and 2. But what I really want to point out is we've just looked at 3 pastas. Look at the weight loss meter on this one. I mean, that is a -3 on the weight loss meter. And that black bean one is also -3. So if you're looking for the best of the best pasta, this would be some of the best. Let me get back to that pasta list. Let's see. Christine says delicious and gluten-free. She adds green beans and shrimp with 0-calorie butter for a great meal. Sounds good, Christine. Awesome. No, ma'am, Paula, you can find some of those at other places too. What we could do, let's see. I'm going to click on the one where I just was. What you do to find out if you can find these to other places. See, I need to, maybe we're out. I don't know. Our button is not there. I need to fix that. Let me screenshot that. Okay. Okay, so it shows these are available at Sprouts and all of the Shibboleth stores. But now remember, Paula, that this is member entered data. So if people haven't entered it, it's not there. I'm going to go back one more. And we'll look at some more, Paula, in just a second to see where they're available. Because I'm going to do something really crazy. I'm going to take out all the pastas that aren't a -3. We just want to see the -3s. That's it. Okay, so we have 16 results. That's pretty good. So you could actually just come down through here and see all of these that are -3s. Like it's skinny pasta. I'm going to click on that one. It's skinny pasta. Looks like that. It's category 2 fibrous carb, where the other one was a 1 and a 2. Okay, nobody's even said where to buy that at all. Simply Nature. Let's click here and see if anybody said where to buy this one. Aldi. So there's one that's sold at Aldi. And this is a 1 and 2. So this would also be used just like that Explore Cuisine pasta. Oh, good, Paula. Yeah. And then we're finding some others that are Aldi too. Like this one would be at Aldi. So, well, while we're talking about that, okay, and Molly says they have both of those last noodles at Calhoun and Aldi. Awesome. This, I don't normally show this tonight, but since we're kind of going that way, I want to show it because it can be valuable to you. We're going to click right here on this green Resources, Foods, and Recipes button. If you scroll down here and see where it says Grocery Store Search, if you click there, do you see all the names of grocery stores? Now, remember, this is member entered data that they have found these things at these stores. So at Aldi, people are claiming that they have found 296 Shibboleth approved items at Aldi. At Food Lion, 331 approved items. Let's see. Kroger has 1,085, Publix 795. And if you don't see stuff like right here, Harris Teeter, it's only got 6. Somebody's probably just not living near a Harris Teeter and going in and bringing this information. They could probably still have them in there. Or if you want to search for your grocery store, you just type it in right there. Okay, but let's go to Ingles. See, I know that there's more approved products at Ingles than 646. It's just that people shop at Kroger more. So therefore, it shows more items. So I'm going to click on Ingles, though, because I want you to see what this is. So if I click on Ingles, these are all the different Ingles that people have been to. And over here on the right-hand side, these are things that people have said they found at Ingles. So if you have a grocery store near you, whatever grocery store that you go to, find it in that list and kind of scroll the list, because then you'd go, okay, that's there. And then if you click on the item, you can look at the description, see if you need to get some other things and all of that. So that's a neat little thing. Okay. So the last thing, we've done 2 things. We have familiarized ourselves with the recipe library. So check. And we've added recipes to the grocery list. Check. Now we're going to check out our created grocery list. So each grocery list can be customized before going shopping. When a full recipe is added to the grocery list, it adds every item needed. You may have some of the items as staples already at home. When you look at your grocery list, you can edit the items you do not need to purchase at the store. Notice how each item in the grocery list is also listed by category. Isn't that amazing? I just consider it another level of learning. Okay, so we just created this grocery list. And look, there's all the lean proteins that we added. There's all the fibrous carbs we added, the energy carbs, the protein plus fat, the condiments, and so forth. That's all the things that we added. If you want to add a grocery list, if you click right here, it'll take you to the food library. You can search for an item and add it. So that's the way that you can customize the grocery list. But let's say that I'm looking through here and I say, okay, I already have salt and pepper at home. I don't need to buy that at the grocery store. See that little minus button? You just click it and you can remove it from your list. And let's just say that it says ghee, clarified butter, and ghee butter. That's just because when whoever put the recipe in, see those recipes, those are member entered too a lot of times. They just picked a different listing of butter in the food library. So let's just say that you just want to remove that one. So it's just you cleaning up your grocery list just a little bit before you go. And so you can do that. And if you want to print your grocery list, you can print your grocery list. You can take your pen and check your little boxes as you get them into your buggy. Or what I do is on my phone, I have a shortcut for all my Shibboleth stuff. I'm going to scroll that over to grocery lists because I have a shortcut to my grocery lists. So it's going to pull up my grocery list. I'm going to click on Kroger. And there's the same exact list we are currently looking at right now. So when I'm standing in the store and I have put liquid egg whites in my buggy, I'm going to click that little minus button and remove it. And that just makes my list smaller and smaller. And I love it. I love it. I don't know about you, but when I scratch off on a list, I still have to scan my eyes around all of that. And so I like the act of removing those things on my list there. So that's just a fun little thing I figured out. But I hope that you've had a great time tonight learning about the recipe library. The main things that you want to focus on in the beginning is getting in your water every single day. You want to get in at least 64 ounces of water every single day. That's at a minimum 4 of these. And you can see this one is finished. So you want to get in at least 4. Then you want to write down what you're eating. Third, you want to eat in a way that controls insulin. That is really where your food library and your recipe library come in handy, because we want to eat in a way that controls insulin. So you use the combination chart and the learning that you will have when you're exploring the food library to eat in that way. It's important to eat in a way that controls insulin because insulin is a growth hormone. It's a growth hormone that is focused on fat storage. So when you're in the process of accessing stored energy, okay, let's say that you get into that calorie deficit with number 4, the portion control, and you're accessing that stored energy, you don't want to store new fat, right? So let's control insulin. We control insulin. That other fat that you might eat isn't stored because we ate in a way that controlled it. So that's what the combinations are. Combinations are eating in a way that controls insulin. Now, it might be that you eat something that isn't a combined meal. You might be eating a freebie, an extra, a snack, or a meal replacement that is approved. Those also will control insulin because we only approve the ones that work. And tomorrow night, we're going to be going over the advanced, no, what are we doing tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, we're going over void replacements. Void replacements. If you ate Pop-Tarts before, you need to know what works now. And then if you ate chips, you need to know what works, and so forth. And then we're going to be going over freebies, extras, and snacks tomorrow. And then what you want to do is you want to give yourself 4 to 6 hours between meals. So if you eat breakfast, give yourself 4 to 6 hours. And you eat lunch, give yourself 4 to 6 hours. But if that timing doesn't work out just right, that won't throw you off of having a perfect day, okay? Because everybody's lives are different and everything. And if you get in drinking your water, writing down your foods, eating the right food combination and the right portions, that's a perfect day. The timing is there for optimization, okay? That's there for optimization. Let's see. Paula says, yes, praise the Lord. I was just taking off your metformin this week. Praise the Lord is right. That is wonderful. Congratulations, Paula. Yes, ma'am, Christine. Oh, I love that, Del Ann, giving some congratulations over there. That's wonderful. That is one of the things a lot of people do. See, when you take your health into your own hands to better it, you focus on your health. Weight loss is a side effect, okay? Weight loss is a side effect of focusing on your health. But you know what? Some people are more concerned about weight loss. Then you're going to get the side effect of health if you're focused on weight loss. But they really work together. They really do work together. But the last thing I want to leave you with is this. There are 5 things that you want to do every day. I call them my daily disciplines, my 5 daily disciplines. Only one of them has to do with what you're eating. The water is not eating, that's just drinking and hydrating yourself. Writing down your foods, that's not what you're eating. That's the act of writing it down, either before you eat it or after you eat it. Portion controlling, that's not what you're eating, that's how much you're eating. You don't eat more than what fits underneath your 2 hands, okay? And no thicker than the thickest part of your hand. And then number 5 is really giving your body a break from digesting between meals. We need that break. We do not need to be grazing. So if you go ahead, if you're brand new and you're like, I don't even know what she's saying about all these combinations, just keep listening. It will come together. Read the information, methodically work your way through the fast track. It will all come together. But if you start doing the water, the writing down, the portion control, and the timing, you're going to start having great success, even if you don't quite get the food combinations right. Okay. It's getting those food combinations right that can like supercharge what you are doing. It's the best lifestyle ever. Y'all hang out with me for the rest of the week and even multiple weeks if you want to, need to. There are people that come every night and I love them for it. It's awesome. And I really, really appreciate it. You're welcome, Temperance. Okay. So if you don't have a membership, y'all can get your membership at shibbolethdeals.com. It's $69. And currently that's for a lifetime membership. That's a special. That's not our normal price. It may have been running for a little bit, but that's because the world is in a little bit of hard times. You know, Corona almost put lots of small businesses out of business. So we're running a special, but that's not the normal price. So if you're hearing this, go ahead and get your membership at shibbolethdeals.com. Okay. Yes, Del Ann, I'm thanking you for that. I love it. She says, I will keep hanging out and I will get this. Yes. Awesome. So thank you all for being here. Join me in the morning on the Shibboleth public page for the Shibby Show. Okay. If you don't have Facebook, the Shibby Show will be in your journal each day if you don't have a backup of journal videos. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Amanda.